Yeah, I recently went through a few of my boxes.
I think, oh my God, my apartment looks so cool. What
it
the
does.
fuck?
I'm like, I need to do a video. It should be the first video.
It
looks cool. I feel like I'm in like iCarly's like set. It just has a bunch of weird stuff.
This looks so fucking cool, dude. I love this filter. What the hell? I'm gonna save it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I have so many Instagrams that I never remember where I save my filters.
Oh yeah, because sometimes you comment through the channel, and I'm like, I don't know if she knows she's doing this.
No, yeah, I avoid my main Instagram anyway. So yeah, toxicity.
No, but I was going through some of my boxes, and I was looking at some old books that I've kept like since high school, and you know, I had to be that deep indie girl.
Do you have it with you? Because I want to tell you what I thought about.
Which one? Is it the last book?
I don't remember. It was like the title was something, but I thought it said something else, and it was funny. I should have told you in the moment. Fuck.
Yeah. Was it one of the first books or the last?
I'll remember later. Oh. I don't know.
Yeah, and I captioned it.
My memory's
like
fading.
Me, if books, whatever. I can't think of it, but it was just like these books are me, and they still are. Like, I mean, before college, like I was just really into all that.
If I was a book, I would be a picture book.
Oh, where's 1,000 words?
Exacto. And it would be just one picture, and it would be of me.
Beautiful. I loved it.
No lo compraría.
What would I be?
A dictionary?
I was going to say that, but I was like, that's so boring. I'm an encyclopedia.
Okay, that's cool.
I can tell
about
you random facts about different things.
About what?
An encyclopedia.
About what? There's different types.
Isn't there only like 12
a general
volumes
one? Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess.
Why that face? Like, ew. Why would I want to be an encyclopedia? Those are cool. I remember the first time I opened one. I was like in 6th grade. And it just has random facts about things. Like Easter Island. And egg and ham and eggs.
Can you tell us one?
What do you mean?
Can you tell us a random fact that you remember?
Oh, don't put me on the spot. I know. Hi, my name is Luna.
Hi, my name is Polly.
And this is
The Other Side.
This week we're talking about Déjà Vus.
Déjà Vu.
Yes, the French word meaning something that's already happened.
Yes.
You
so
say it.
Déjà vu comes from French. It's a French phrase or word that means or stands for already seen. I'm sure we've all heard déjà vu before because we've all experienced it, guys.
Everybody, don't lie.
Actually, 90% of the people are said to experience it at least once in their lifetime.
To be honest, I feel like it's 100%, but whatever, that's just me. I just think there's no way somebody hasn't experienced that.
There might be, that 10% might be those skeptical people that just try to find meaning or an alternative meaning to it versus just admitting that it was a déjà vu.
Yeah.
Well, actually, déjà vu doesn't specifically stand for any kind of theory. It's just a term that it's given to the experience or the feeling of having felt or lived that moment before.
Maybe it's because, like, it's kind of creepy if you really think about it. Like, it depends on, like, how you accept it, right? Like, for me, like, things really hit me hard. So, like, if something that happens that I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it just stays in my mind for, like, a couple of days. And I guess some people don't want to accept that.
Well,
yeah, it does. Like, right now, like, I'm trying to remember the déjà vu I had earlier, but, like, I won't let it go. I want to say maybe it was me. Okay, it was me asking you like, oh, so you've checked out the new White Lies album? And you were like, yeah. And I was trying to think of like the name of it. And then I was like, whoa, I've been here before. Like, I remember asking you that.
Literally right now?
You were over there with the camera and you were...
like exactly the same.
Yeah. And it's creepy.
And it's so crazy that now that you mention it, because a déjà vu, it's a whole experience, right? Like, it's not even the placement of things. It's like things you say.
It's a smell.
The way you're
sound.
dressed. Yeah. The environment, people. It's so weird. And it's like,
how can you take a step back?
How can things be so specific like that? Like, for example, one of the things that I was reading while doing research for this episode was that maybe the scientific explanation that people try to give it is that you're associating a different experience that you've already lived and it's familiar, so it wasn't quite stored right in your memory. So now that you're reliving this experience, it's a similar kind of environment. You think that you've already experienced it before, but actually you haven't. It's just something that it's just familiar, like, because we've been in this room before, you and I, Kila, but we've never had the light. Kila has never had the camera. I don't think we've ever talked about white lies.
You've never worn that though, like either. That's another thing. We have talked about white lies, but you haven't worn that specific thing sitting in the exact same
exactly.
spot.
Like, it's so weird that there's such specific things, and you're sure about it.
I am.
Like, no, when you experience a deja vu, it's like, oh my god, like, I've lived this before, and you're so sure about it, and it's like,
that's the most powerful thing about it, is just like you feel so sure, and like, why shouldn't you? It's like, it's your own mind, like
it's your own experience.
I know, like, we're told, like, you know, things are psychological, we go through things, and you know, it's like, don't believe everything you feel, but like, why not? Like, that is just too weird.
It's your personal experience.
I did read something about saying that, like, instead it was something that you did go through. So let's say, like, I read this example. It said, like, you're paddling, like, in a lake. So maybe you can get deja vu of, like, the sky being blue, you paddling in the exact same moment, like the motion, and it's the waves are, like, hitting against the boat. But instead, like, you have that deja vu, and it's saying that it's a switch between short-term memory and long-term memory. So it's something that you're just doing in that moment. So as your brain's trying to process it, instead of it going, you know, to the filing cabinets in the back, like, instead, like, it's being regurgitated, so to say. That's the worst word to say. I don't know why. No, guys, you're not throwing up the memory back up. But it's like, instead, you're like, oh my God. And so it's kind of like a glitch. Like, your brain just had a fart or something.
A memory anomaly. It's an anomaly. That's what some scientists, that's how they try to explain deja vu, because there's always going to be, just like there are people in the world who want to believe about numbers, about energies, there are other people in the world that don't want to believe in that, so they look for explanations, logical explanations to everything strange that happens, and deja vu is not the exception. So,
it's just like, I don't want to believe it's a coincidence, especially not if I'm not the only person and we're not, like, the minority. Like, you said 90%. Like, give or take, like, that is an extreme. There's like 8 billion people in the world, isn't there? Or more.
7 or 8, I don't know.
Right? It's just, it's so many. And to think that almost everybody has those experiences, like, you kind of have to, like, invest a little time into thinking about why does that happen?
Yeah. Almost 90% of us will experience it at least once in our lifetime. And mainly it's going to be between the ages, your teens and your 20s.
That makes sense, because...
What do you think, though?
I don't know, but I could at least confirm that, like, even as a child, I don't think I ever had those moments.
Yeah, it said that almost never it's before the ages of 8 or 9. Which, okay, so when I was reading that, I was like, well, these facts are based on, like, research, right? Asking people, have you ever experienced deja vu? Yes or no? And then from that poll, they deducted that 90% of the people said yes. And then most of the people were between their teens and 20s, and no people before the ages of 8 or 9. But also, can a kid even identify what a deja vu is? Like, can they process or can they understand what a deja vu means?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know how accurate that is. It may be that they just don't understand yet what it is.
Or maybe for me, when you said that, I just thought of it a little more deep. Like, we're kind of in the prime of our lives. Like, children are, like, developing their brains and everything to get to that point. But they do feel things emotionally. Do they feel things intellectually? I don't know.
The thing is, no, what I'm saying is that can they identify those experiences and actually name what they are?
So we can't just say that they don't, just because they don't tell us, right?
I think that's the reason. Because and honestly, well, I cannot say that I've experienced it past my 20s because I am 25. But I don't know. I'll tell you guys when I turn 40 if I still experience deja vu.
I kind of want to, like, this is going to be a lifelong, like, test.
An experiment.
Test this shit out.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to think that because I do have a theory for what a déjà vu means, and I hope I never stop experiencing them. But we'll go later on about theories about déjà vu. So what déjà vu is what most people describe it as a feeling or an expression. That's why it cannot be studied, because a lot of people, like I said, are skeptical about how a déjà vu, that it's not a spiritual experience or anything like that. Like they want to find a reason of why your brain identifies these scenarios as you've lived them before. They try to find
both.
yeah.
I think.
Well, yes, but some people that don't believe in this kind of stuff, they try to find an explanation, but they can't, because since it's a feeling, it cannot be studied, because there are no scientific signs, or no physical signs that this happens. Like you could be having a déjà vu right now, but I can't tell by any of the things that I can see unless you say that. Yeah, and it doesn't show up in a brain scan. Like there are no neurological. Because whenever they do a brain scan, like, and for example, you're feeling happy or you're feeling sad, like the scans change color. Honestly, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how to read a scan, but I know that happens. And nothing happens whenever you experience a déjà vu. And also, it's very hard for them to pinpoint the exact point where you're going to have a déjà vu. Like they would have to be connected their whole lives to caught that specific moment where you have a déjà vu.
But to be clear, there's nobody like denying the existence of like déjà vus.
No,
right?
it happens. It's a thing that happens.
Because I'm just like that. This kind of goes back to like a consciousness. Like we all have like a voice in our heads. Everybody has a voice in their head.
Actually, some people. Have you ever? This I got it from a tweet. Some people don't have voices in their heads, and some people they don't have pictures in their head. Did you know that?
What a lie.
I'm sure, like 100%.
I don't think
like
so.
If you, because, well, I don't know for you, but if I think of an apple, I can picture an apple in my head. I cannot taste it physically, but I can imagine the taste of an apple, the smell, everything. Some people can't.
That's not true.
Yep.
That is so not true. Everybody does
Look it
that.
up. No.
We connect things constantly in our lives.
Some people can't.
I refuse.
I'm
if one
100%.
of you are like that, I want you to send a message. We need to have a talk. I don't believe that.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. Honestly, it's a thing. So, yeah, it's a thing.
Oh God,
it's so strange. It's so strange for us to understand, because we've lived our whole lives like that. But there are some people that have not.
Okay, maybe not like the voice in your head, like you don't hear somebody reciting something to you, but like the
yourself, or like your thoughts, or
what's the word? You're having a
reflection.
You're having the thought, but it's happening in front of you. Fuck. No, I'm not saying this right. Fuck.
Well, some people can't do that. Like they
conscious thought. Like
some people
the same word of what I'm saying.
Some people can't have inner conversations with themselves. Like they just cannot.
Okay, and that's one thing, because I feel like that's a sort of like problem solving type of way that like for me, that's what I do. Like sometimes if I'm trying to really decide something, like I'm talking to myself in my head. Mm-hmm. But like reading a book, things like that, like you are like
talking
in a sense, you're talking, but like you're receiving that information as you go.
Some people cannot hear it. They have to, like, for example, some people cannot read inside their head.
I call bullshit.
They have to speak it. Yeah.
No.
And it might be a minority, but there is such a thing as that. I'm 100% sure.
It's because I always think about the movie Castaway. It's such a great example of when Tom Hanks puts a fucking face on that volleyball, and I'm just like, everybody needs somebody. That is the most human thing.
Side note, I just saw a movie by Tom Hanks, News of the World, or it sucks.
There's a lot of movies he's come out in that suck. I don't even know which one that is.
I give it a 2 on Letterboxd.
You have a Letterboxd?
Yeah, of course.
You need to follow me.
Okay, wow. I'll let you.
Truman Show.
Huh? Truman Show.
What'd you think of Truman Show?
4.5. So good. And I watched today Man in the Moon.
Guys, please don't let this reflect on the podcast. Please keep listening.
Why?
4 out of 10?
No, out of 5.
Oh, crap. Oh my God, I was already getting scared. I was like,
I'm talking stars, like out of 5 stars.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 95.
I don't know why I still go based on like a 10-point increment when like, yeah.
No, I loved it. It's so good. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies now. I'm so mad at myself because I didn't watch it before.
I kind of forgot already a lot of parts of it. I only saw it once.
When I was watching it, I was like, this could be reflected in so many ways, like reality television, social media stars, people that were born into like being a celebrity, like they don't have a choice. Like, anyway, that's another topic that we'll leave for later.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Matrix, right? Everything's kind of
Also
predetermined.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, do we think we're that important enough for people to want to control
Another thing
us?
that I was thinking about when I was seeing it, at the very end, whenever he finds out that he's living in this world that was created for him, and then the voice which the director was talking to him, which in this case could be a parallel to God. He was like, well, the world outside is no better than the world that I created for you. And that's how I think sometimes people feel when they want to escape their own reality. The world outside your reality is no better than what your reality already is. So you might as well just stay in it. It's another topic, but yeah. And like looking through the whole movie, I was like, wow, like there are so many deeper meanings that I could get from this movie. But I'll watch later in more detail and I'll make notes for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to think about. It is easier to believe that everything's kind of construed for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's sad because you feel like you're being controlled, but at the same time, it's like, but everything's going to be all right.
Yeah. Bueno, going back to Déjà Vu, we kind of got sidetracked there. We were talking about that it cannot be studied because it doesn't have any physical signs. It cannot be predicted and it cannot be caused. Like there are no factors that I could do or any scenario that I could create that would make you have a déjà vu, because I've been in situations like, for example, your routine. Your routine is always going to be you wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to the restroom, you shower, and you do those things every day. You go to work, right? But that's not a déjà vu. So it's not that you've lived the experience before. It's just a feeling that you get that the exact same things are happening. It's just different than reliving things. And you cannot recreate those situations. Like whenever you have a déjà vu, you just have a déjà vu. You cannot plan it. You cannot cause it. There's no way that you could create those circumstances. That's why it cannot be studied by actual scientists. All the research that there exists is just by asking people about their personal experiences. Yeah.
I mean, that's like the basis of all social behaviors, isn't it? It's always about asking how other people feel, because it isn't something super scientific. It is a science, but it's just not that kind of science. It's not something right away. It's something that we feel as like time goes on.
Yeah. So there is a scientific explanation to this, and well, several. And one of them is that memories require essentially two things to exist: familiarity and recollection. When these two become out of sync, then you can experience déjà vu, meaning if our brain experiences something and it seems familiar, but you cannot recall from where or when, then you can't remember the details of the experience, then this memory anomaly happens, where the scenario seems familiar, but you cannot pinpoint exactly where. Therefore, you have a déjà vu. That's the scientific explanation that people give it. Another explanation or scientific explanation that exists is called cryptomnesia, which is a forgotten memory that returns without being recognized as such. So it's information that is forgotten but then comes back as a new or an original thought, which I have experienced, and it's not the same thing as déjà vu. Like, for example, there are some things that happened or have happened in my life, and then I completely forget about the how or why I know these things, and then they come to me as an original thought, which may sound like bullshit, but it does happen.
Well, your thread on Twitter about photos I don't know why you took, right?
Yeah, that's another thing, but that's now that I think about it, like a lot of my life revolves around memory and about forgetting things.
But that's another thing. Like we're all suffering through that, like the short term memory loss because of like social media and like screen time. Like it's caused us to not pay attention to things. I read something that said that like you could have seen like a hill. Like let's put, for example, you're driving, right, and there's a hill on the side, and you might have seen it like through your peripheral vision, but because you didn't put enough thought into what you saw, you don't think it really happened until you
it just stored in the back of your
a
conscious
month later, and you're like, whoa, was I here? And it's like, dude, you actually saw that. No, but you just weren't thinking about it.
I have a thread on Instagram called Pictures I Don't Remember Taking. And then I just post like random pictures that I have on my camera. I'm like, I remember maybe taking the picture, but I don't remember the context of why I took it. You know what I mean? It's a cool thread. Y'all should follow me on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not an original theory, but I read about this and I forgot where. It's very creepy. It's very morbid. It's very me. I read that they said that déjà vus happen when... Okay, so they say that, like, when we die, our whole life, like, our life flashes before our eyes. And it's saying that, like, the déjà vu is proof that we're living in that memory of it all, like, reeling back. You know what I mean? So, like, if something happens, we're like, whoa, I could have sworn this happened. It's like, it did happen. You're not real. This is a memory. Like, we're just figments of, like, an imagination of that memory. That's kind of creepy, right? I like that idea, though. To think that this already happened, all of this.
Yeah.
And we're just, like, living in that rewind, I guess. I forgot where I read that or if someone told me, but I just thought that was really cool. Time is not linear. But again, that's, like... signifying
Have you ever heard about string theory?
Yes,
but I don't know. It kind of goes into that, but we'll go about it later because it's a whole different topic.
Well, what is it though?
Parallel universes and about time not being linear.
I'm so about that. I feel like aliens and ghosts have a lot to do with that. I do. I feel like we're all living collectively here, even though they're not here,
for sure,
sort of
for
here.
sure. But I don't know how that relates to string theory.
Oh yeah, I don't know about string theory, but I'm just saying parallel universe is like for sure.
No, there are other theories as well besides those scientific explanations because we're all trying to find meaning to things, right? One of the theories that I read was that some people believe that a déjà vu is us temporarily accessing a shared consciousness from another you in an infinite number of dimensions. So, for example, about string theory and about different dimensions, right? The theory is that there are infinite possibilities that could happen, and you exist in a million different universes, in an infinite number of universes. And every decision that you make is a different timeline. Like sipping out of this wine versus not.
You know what?
That's one thing, or like those are different universes. And they could be completely different or they could be similar, but just by varying by maybe 1 second, 2 seconds, or a different, like I said, just drinking out of the wine or not.
It kind of
and there are infinite number of different timelines or different universes.
Outcomes, yeah.
Exactly.
It reminds me of like how big of a deal we make about things that we don't do. And it's like, what if I would have done that? And maybe that keeps coming up because of that. Because it has happened in a different...
Well, that is one of the bases of string theory. But this theory talks about the infinite number of universes. And whenever you have a déjà vu, is because you crossed paths with a consciousness of you in another universe that is doing exactly the same thing that you are doing at the same at that time and at that moment.
Okay, maybe that's what the movie A Ghost Story was revolved around. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's an A24 film. It's so good. It's literally a story about a ghost, but it's not scary. But it takes
I haven't seen it because a friend of mine told me to watch it, and he told me that I was gonna get very depressed if I watched it.
Okay, yes.
And I was like, scary. I'm not ready for that.
It's very sad. It's very long. But there's so much to take away from it. And it makes you think. I just won't say anything because it really is going to ruin the movie. But another movie I like to put into like perspective is like Interstellar. Like ever since I watched that movie, I know it's so basic, such a film bro, whatever.
I've never seen it either.
But so good. When you really like try to imagine like different dimensions, like a lot of things just make more sense that way. I don't know if that's just like a comforting thing, but I like to think that.
I do
But yeah,
believe
string
in.
theory, because that reminds me of the podcast we had on, was it last night, talking when he was just like, but what about all the future like things, being afraid of the future that doesn't happen? I feel like that ties into it a lot.
Yeah. There is another theory about past lives saying that maybe you feel that you've already lived this a deja vu or the experience because you've already experienced it in a past life.
That's kind of what I was saying, right? I think.
No. Well, from what I got from what you were saying is that all of this has already happened, and that we're just already living in this. Like if you thought about it in
Oh, you mean like in a reincarnation way?
Yes.
Okay, I was meaning like directly our lives. But that could be another thing too. Like I remember reading, sorry, not reading, I think it was like my grandma or somebody told me like, oh, the reason why you have birthmarks is because in a past life, somebody was killed that way. And like those are the marks left behind. And
but I
I'm
don't
like,
have any birthmarks. So I died because of natural reasons, maybe?
We'd like to think so. Yes. Yeah, because I have
I have a tumor. Does that count? But I don't think I died by my finger. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. There are so many theories. These are some that I encountered, and then I have my own that I've never read anywhere else. It's an original thought. Okay. Anyway, but another theory is believers in the theory claim that the human experience of deja vu can be explained by considering the unsettling feeling of having lived a moment before a crossover with a parallel universe. This would mean that whatever you're doing while experiencing deja vu, a parallel version of you is doing it in a different universe, simultaneously, therefore creating an alignment between the two universes, which is kind of like what I said.
So kick-ass if that were true. That's awesome.
We're never gonna know. That's so fucked up.
I know, and we're just gonna be running in circles all the time, just thinking about this. But that sounds really cool. It's like
I wish I knew the answers to these.
Doing something else, and this just happened to. I don't know, but I mean, there has to be a lot of things that lead up to this in the same way, right?
What? I'm sorry.
I mean, really? Like there has to be like a lot of things that lead up to this in the same way. Meaning, like for example, like you were talking about the song, and I was like, oh, this and that. You've heard the album. Like in order for us to get to that moment, this had to have been set up. This podcast had to have happened.
We had to have met.
Yeah,
I have to have that song on for some reason. Like, yeah, everything was just aligned perfectly to this moment. That's so strange.
So it's not like there would be another universe where like a different version of you doing so many different things, and then you just happen to be in the exact same spot.
Well, like, the thing is, the theory about having so many different universes, like my life could be exactly the same, but I just could have been, I don't know, I could be a little taller, maybe. Okay. And that could be another possibility. Or it could be exactly the same, or my hair could be a different color. Like the possibilities are infinite. Yeah. Like every little single thing, maybe there's not a ukulele there. Because there is an ukulele there, by the way. But maybe there is not in another different universe. And that's literally the only thing that's going to be ever different in my whole life. You know what I mean? That the possibilities are literally infinite.
And it just keeps going back to like chances. I feel like whenever we contemplate what if I would have taken that chance with this, job or this person or this and that. Yeah. And those things keep coming back. Maybe it's because of that. Like, why don't we just live with the mentality of like, we just move forward? Like, it's just impossible.
Life does not work
maybe there's some people who are emotionally stable enough to, like, not care about the chances they did not take. But even people who are happy...
Cannot relate at all.
Yeah, it's just, like, we live with remorse or, like, some sort of regret of, like, why. It's always why. It's like you're never happy. Or you're never satisfied, maybe. Not happy. Because you can be happy, but something feels like it's missing. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that connects to it.
Maybe.
Because it would make sense if there's different parallel universes where like it did happen and it just keeps, eating away at you. It's like, why do I keep thinking about this chance that I didn't
But
take?
you think that maybe it's because you're connected to all of your self-use in the other universes?
Exactly. What if we're like the same soul as all those people?
You are. It's you.
Right? I remember hearing when I was younger, like, I think it was like at church, like, it was for like Sunday school or something. And they were saying, like, what's going to happen when we die? It does cartwheel. And then, like, one of the teachers was like, well, you're going to go to heaven. And the kid was like, but, like, am I going to remember that? Am I going to know what that feels like? And she was like, she had just all the answers in the world. Like, she fucking knows. And she was like, well, your soul's going to go to heaven. You're not going to go to heaven. And
Not your physical body.
Yeah, he's like, for one, your body doesn't go.
Yeah.
But neither does your mind. It's just your soul. So a part of you leaves.
Our body,
and that always stayed with me. I was like, that's
the body,
cool.
Our body is just the suit that we wear to live in this world. But
yeah,
it's not us. It's just it's just a suit. It's a costume.
It's borrowed.
It's borrowed.
Everything's borrowed. Our time is borrowed. Our space is borrowed. Now with subscriptions,
I would like to
our
borrow a
entertainment is
different
borrowed.
face, please. I have my own theory about Déjà Vu.
Let's hear it.
Okay. My theory has to do with destiny. Because I believe that everything that has happened and that will happen in my life has already been planned. Or that's my destiny. I do believe that there are choices that I could make to change the way my life goes. But if I decide to make that change, or if I decide to make that difference in my life, it's because that was my destiny.
That's exactly how I feel. I've actually never, you're putting it to better like words. No, people would get mad sometimes when I would say that. Like, let me just say real quick, like that's what I would think. I was like, yes, we have choices, but people want to believe like my life is up to me and I'm going to make that decision.
I create my own destiny.
Yes, but it is just going to happen that way.
Exactly. It was already just predetermined or
I always thought that was weird that I thought that, but no. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about life, right?
That's how I feel too.
Okay, that's
Less regret.
That's the basis of my theory, okay? Just keep that in mind. Now, I believe that whenever a déjà vu happens, is because you're navigating through this line that is your life. Time goes one way, right? So you're navigating through time and going through everything that you are supposed to go in your life. As you happen to pass on those experiences, sometimes you have déjà vus, which are, to me, confirmations that you are in the right path. And whenever déjà vu happens, is because somehow, some way, the universe is communicating with you and telling you, you are where you need to be at this point and exact time, with the people around you happening. Everything that's happening right now, it's exactly how it's supposed to happen. You are on the right path.
It's kind of like a reality check, but like positive.
A reaffirmation that you're doing what's that has to happen for you.
Why do you think that?
I don't know.
Like, what made you come to that? Or you've always felt that way?
I've always felt that way about life, about destiny, right? And then because I always have déjà vus, and it's like, I don't know what the average person, like, I don't know what the average number of déjà vus you have in a lifetime, but I believe I have above average déjà vus because I have them all the freaking time.
It's been a minute for me, but I mean, I just had one today, and I think that's kind of weird.
I know, like we're literally talking about déjà vus today.
A couple of days ago, I had it in the car too. I forgot what it was for. They're not that often, but they were more often when I was younger.
Well, the thing is also, another thing of why I came to this conclusion is because whenever I'm unhappy, I don't have them at all. And whenever I'm happy, I have them all the time.
And you know something? I feel like I haven't had them as much as a young adult now, but I did have them more as a teenager, I think. But I think it's also because of that, because I was just really struggling these past years.
So it was because you were on the wrong path. And then you came back on the right path, and it's a reaffirmation that you are where you're supposed to be.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had one.
Don't give up on me yet,
I
Mom.
had one in this room, recording my other podcast, with my friends, and it was like while I was recording, there is like while it's recorded like inside the podcast. I was just like talking about something else, and then I was like, wow, I just had a deja vu. Anyway, and then I went back to the topic. Yeah, because it just, so I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be here in this apartment, in this room with the people.
How nice. That's cool.
It's a reaffirmation that you're doing what's intended for you in this life. That's the way I feel about deja vu.
I mean, sometimes I feel like we got to make sense of it in the most positive way. As fucked up as this world already is. Like, we have to say, hey, that's kind of cute. That's a good thing. I'm doing the right thing. Yay.
Yeah.
Gold star.
I like deja vus because, like I said, I associate them with something positive.
I love everything that trips you out. Like, really, it just makes you really just say, what the fuck is going on? Like, because we're just so used to everything being normal. Like, everything's normalized. Our feelings are expected. You know, we do things to feel happy. We do things to feel, I don't know, excited, intense, or scared. Like watching a scary movie. Like, we go into everything already knowing what we're going to feel. And those things will not let that happen. You know, deja vus happen in the least expected moments. And I think that's the coolest thing about it.
Yeah. There's also,
because we need to accept that we don't know everything in this world as much as we want to believe we do. Like, there are going to be things unexplained that happen and not even scientists can figure it out.
And sometimes it's okay not to know the answer to these things, like, because it keeps things interesting.
Yeah, accepting that there is an unknown. Because I think essentially, like, humans are just afraid of that. We're afraid of things we don't know.
So
a lot of the times,
which theory do you think is the better one?
Yours is very pretty, but I think I believe in the string theory one because I do believe in
I don't know if it's associated with
string
theory. Again, string theory is just about parallel universes.
Yeah, but for sure universes, or I like to say dimensions. But I personally believe that we live like in a layer. Like if Earth was like an onion and there were like different layers to things, I know Shrek is life.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
We'll finish with that. Like, I feel like we're all just living collectively at the same time. Because time is not linear, but everything is just here.
It's presented as a linear.
Yeah, but because that's how we understand it. But it's like, who's to say our understanding is the utmost understanding of understandings? Like, it's not.
Yeah, I like my theory because I
like it too, though. It's positive. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a reassurance that I'm supposed to be here. That's the way I survive.
Deja vus are cool.
Do you think they come from? Well, let's say that there is a scientific explanation to this. Let's say that we were people that were skeptical and don't believe in these alternate theories. Okay. Do you think that deja vus come from a past memory that actually happened, or do you think that they come from a memory of a dream?
Oh, that's a good one. Man, who knows? Because, like, the way I think everybody sees it as, like, it's a past memory that has come up again. That's why people always say, I could have sworn this already happened. Instead of saying, oh, shit, this is happening in the next universe to the other me. But, like,
start normalizing people
I know,
saying,
let's normalize multi-dimensions. We are in the Matrix. It's a glitch in the simulation. But, like, all the theories you've brought up are about it happening right now, right? But like in other dimensions.
Yes.
Or like, you know,
exactly the past life one. Yeah. There's one that, like I said, like you've lived this in another past life, or just
it's great though, because you know when you frame it that way, it makes you think like, you know, why accept that it's in the past?
The thing is, how could it happen in a past life if I was in the same room, like the technology was the same, like
exactly.
I don't know. It's just strange.
Exactly. It's because we instinctually like recognize it as something, but maybe we shouldn't just accept it for what it is and look more into it. And I think that's the beauty of it with all these different theories, because it makes you really think about it. That is the beauty
of being alive.
Yes.
And being humans, because no other animal in the world has these kind of thoughts.
You don't think?
No, they don't. Their physical or their
what is it?
Mental
the difference
capacity does not allow them to.
Yeah.
Well, at least not that we know of.
Which are the smartest animals, though?
Pigs.
Okay, you say pigs. I've heard horses. I've heard killer whales. Huh?
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I've heard dolphins, and I've also
It's pigs,
heard
guys.
what's the other one? Yeah, whales was one
That's
of them.
why don't eat meat.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think they're smart, but like the difference is like we're always being existential about everything.
Yep. That's the beauty about being a human.
It's all meta, man.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Okay.
meta.
What do you all think? Which theory do you feel satisfied with?
Seriously, like,
Because-
y'all need to tell us because I want to know what deja vus you guys have had because I've already forgotten like all of mine or like, but yeah, what theory do you fall under or believe in?
Which theory do you feel comfortable believing in? Like I said, I think that the possibilities of theories are endless, but I like to personally believe my theory because it's very comforting just to know that I am doing what's right for me. So tell us, guys, on Instagram, on the other side channel.
The other side channel. But if you're one of those people who think they're too cool to have like an inside voice, then just leave the chat. We don't want to know.
What? What did other people what?
People who don't have inside voices, they think they're too cool to talk to themselves.
No, it's not that.
Or take
It's just
pictures of
they
apples.
cannot
They're not able.
they're not able to do it. I don't know how to explain it. I'll look it up and I'll bring it for the next
But it's
podcast
because that's the thing
they
about.
can't. It's not that they don't want to or they're too cool for it. They just can't.
But like how? But like as children, like that's the way we grow up. Is like we need to visually connect things in our head. That's how we learn what grammar is. That's how we learn how to talk. That's how we learn how to walk. It's about replicating, connecting, things like that.
They can, but they just.
But you have to do that in your head.
Some people and there is a picture that explains it. Like some people can like picture what an apple is, but they cannot see the actual picture of how the apple looks like. Or some
I
people,
think that's up to imagination.
Yes, they cannot imagine it. Or some people can imagine it, but they cannot imagine it in color. It's so strange.
But everybody like just to be.
They have
sure,
like it's
we make
like a spectrum.
connections.
Yes, it's like, but it's
Okay.
like a spectrum.
I
Like
take
some
it back,
people,
guys. Sorry for the hostility.
like
okay
some
if you don't
people
wanna
can
picture
like
them.
physically picture, like I said, the smell, the taste, the actual picture, the color, everything. Some people can only do certain things, like just a picture. Some people can only picture the word or the association. Like maybe like when you think apple, you think tree, you think fresh, you think
Yeah,
sweet.
there's some people that
Yes.
connect. I think numbers with colors. I do that. Or like,
That's strange to me. I cannot do that.
really.
Yeah.
When I think of 4, I think of brown. When I think of 1, I think of blue. When I think of 3, I think of green.
What do you think of 11?
3 green. Well, that's like 1, so blue. Also, it's the same thing. Like I connect. Don't judge me. This is a safe space. When I think of like bold singular numbers, I guess like that's how I feel. Like when I think of 9, I'm like that's a strong number. 7, that's a strong number. 8, that's a goofy ass number. It's too many curves. Like I don't know.
You know what?
It's 2 donuts.
I've only
stacked
felt
on
like
the
that
other.
about one thing. The letter E is always smiling. Why is she so fucking happy? I don't get it. Stop
When I
smiling.
think E, I think of green.
The letter E. Anyway.
Okay.
That's so strange. Okay. I've never thought about it that way, but I guess
But there
I can
is
see.
some sort of like research done where like people have to like
Mm-hmm.
they always associate colors and words together. Like days of the week. Monday is red. It's just red. It's always gonna be red. Tuesday is always gonna be green. Wednesday is blue.
I've never even thought about
Okay,
putting
whale.
it that way. I don't know. That's strange to me. And just like that is strange to me, some people just cannot picture things in their head. And we're all different.
Well, okay, yeah, but sorry, I was taking it as like you can't make connections. I'm like, bro, that's the basis of like us like evolving. You kind of have to make connections.
Okay, guys. All right. So I think that's it for this podcast. Tell us on Instagram. Talk to us. We really, really like talking to y'all. Thank you so much for the people that reached out about numbers on the last episode. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, talk to us. We are happy to answer your questions and to just maybe debate also about this and share our different thoughts and our different theories. I have all the time in the world, so I like talking to people. So yeah, follow us on the other side channel on Instagram. And that's it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you wanna also listen on this podcast. What other topics you wanna listen to? We have certain things planned, but we also want to get your feedback. Are you liking the content? What do you think that we could do better maybe for future episodes?
So easy. But yeah, let us know.
But let us know. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you